Welcome to this explainer. You know, over 70% of our planet's surface is covered by vast, deep blue waters. So today, we're going to act as your global tour guides as we explore this massive continuous system. We'll be unpacking these incredible bodies of water that literally shape our world's climate, its geography, and all of its ecosystems. Okay, let's dive into this global itinerary. First, we'll meet the five oceans in general, and then we're making stops at the Atlantic, the Indian, the Pacific, the Southern, and finally, the Arctic Ocean.
Section 1. Meet the five oceans. Our global tour begins right now.
Now, Earth fundamentally just has one giant interconnected body of salt water that flows freely around the globe. It's really just one big ocean. But to actually make sense of this massive expanse, scientists break it down into five major distinct basins: the Atlantic, Indian, Pacific, Southern, and Arctic. Breaking our global waters down into these specific, manageable stops is absolutely vital. It helps us track complex global currents, monitor shifts in marine biology, and interpret highly localized climate data.
Moving on to Section 2. The Atlantic Ocean. This is stop number 1 on our tour.
So the Atlantic Ocean is this massive S-shaped basin that stretches from the extreme north all the way down to the Southern Ocean. It's perfectly sandwiched right between the Americas, Europe, and Africa. Historically, you probably know it as a massive hub for human trade, but it's also a remarkably dynamic geological zone. Running right down its center is the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. That is a gigantic underwater mountain range that's literally pushing tectonic plates apart. It's actually widening the Atlantic by about 1 to 1.5 inches every single year. How crazy is that?
Section 3. The Indian Ocean. Imagine spinning the globe eastward as we continue our journey.
And this brilliantly illustrates a major difference. Unlike the wide-reaching Atlantic that connects those polar extremes, the Indian Ocean has a really distinct geographic placement. Situated primarily in the Eastern Hemisphere, it's bounded by Africa, Asia, and Australia, so it doesn't stretch pole to pole. Instead, it's essentially landlocked to the north by the massive Asian continent. This unique kind of constrained positioning makes it a crucial driver of intense regional climate patterns. It literally fuels systems like the famous seasonal monsoons, which, as we know, impact billions of lives. So, we've covered the Atlantic and the Indian. But out of all these incredible basins, which one claims the title of the absolute most vast? I mean, really, just how big can a single ocean get? Section 4, the Pacific Ocean, the massive basin. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the answer to that exact question. The Pacific Ocean covers more than 30% of the entire Earth's surface. The sheer scale of it is, honestly, almost difficult to comprehend. To put its immense size into perspective, think about this. If you took every single landmass on Earth, every continent, every tiny island, and packed them inside the Pacific Basin, they would all fit, and you would still have room to spare. It's just a staggering realization of exactly how much water dominates our planet. But the Pacific is defined just as much by its extreme depths as it is by its vast width. Plunging nearly 7 miles down into pitch darkness, the Mariana Trench is the deepest known point of the world's oceans. These deep-sea trenches act like entirely alien ecosystems right here on Earth. They host biological mysteries and geological wonders that have completely adapted to crushing pressures. And scientists, they are still actively working to map and understand these depths today. Section 5, the Southern Ocean. Let's look down and head south. Leaving behind the vast, often temperate stretches of the Pacific, the Southern Ocean presents a completely different vibe. It's a uniquely isolating and frigid environment. It completely encircles Antarctica, and what makes this basin so unique is that it isn't bounded by landmasses to its north. Instead, its boundary is defined by a powerful, relentlessly circulating flow known as the Antarctic Circumpolar Current. This massive movement of freezing water acts like a distinct ecological barrier, and it actually serves as a highly vital pumping heart for our global climate engine. So, we've seen the middle latitudes, the wide expanses, and the deep, freezing south. But what lies hidden beneath the ice at the very top of the world? Let's find out in Section 6, the Arctic Ocean, the icy crown. Nestled right around the North Pole, the Arctic is the smallest and shallowest of all the major ocean basins, officially completing our global circumnavigation. But hey, despite its smaller size and those harsh, ice-covered conditions, it is absolutely fundamental to the survival of our planet's current climate state. The bright white sea ice covering the Arctic acts like a giant mirror. Through what scientists call the albedo effect, this ice reflects massive amounts of incoming solar radiation right back into space. It essentially functions as a crucial global cooling system, regulating temperatures for the entire world. So the crucial point is this. We've checked off the Atlantic, Indian, Pacific, Southern, and Arctic oceans. While Earth's water is ultimately one continuous, overwhelming body, structurally mapping the world into these 5 basins is absolutely essential. This systematic breakdown is literally the key to humanity unlocking the broader secrets of global climate patterns. It helps us track vital shipping routes and preserve highly specific, very delicate ecosystems. From the vibrant coastal coral reefs to the deepest trenches, what else is hidden in the depths of our world's oceans? We've mapped the surface geography of these 5 incredible basins today, sure, but the ocean remains one of the least explored frontiers on Earth. It's like a giant puzzle with mostly missing pieces. There is just so much more out there waiting to be discovered. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep exploring.